It is a phenomenon that can strike at any time and anywhere. It doesn't care how many kids you have or how busy you are. What is this phenomenon? Mom burnout. So, in this week's Momtrepreneur Life Coffee Chat, we're going to get into all things mom burnout. Hey mom, so welcome back. I'm Jody the mom from lifeunboxed.blog, where we talk about all things momtrepreneur, from raising your kids to running your business, and the most important one, keeping your sanity. So, if we're going to be all about keeping your sanity, then we got to talk about mom burnout. So, I did a podcast interview this week, and in the course of the conversation, the mom interviewing me asked me about mom burnout. And since it was just more of like a passing conversation or a passing question amidst the conversation, I wanted to give it more time because I have been burnt out. Like, I feel like I've hit a wall. I can't move. Things that were easy to do, it felt like I was trying to run a marathon, like hitting a wall. So we're going to talk about that today. And this is not, I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything like that. So I am just going to share my own personal story with you because I also had another mom comment on my high needs baby video, just saying, like, I just needed my feelings validated, and this is what it did. This is what this video did. So I'll leave that video in the description below. So sometimes as moms, we just need what we're feeling to be validated, to know that, okay, this is kind of normal. I'm not unique in what I'm feeling right now, and there's somebody else out there who has experienced it or is experiencing it. So grab your coffee, throw your hair up in a messy bun, and we'll get into the show. But before we get started, because Christmas is right around the corner, okay? And when you're a mom of 6, you start thinking about Christmas in like July because you got a budget for it. But I have some great Christmas ideas, journals, and these are so much fun. They really are. So this one says, I read books and I know things. That's what I do. And this is a dot grid journal. This one is, I'm silently correcting your grammar, which is also a dot grid journal because I like dot grid journals. And then I have one especially for the fall, and it says, if loving pumpkin spice is wrong, I don't want to be right. And this one's a little bit different because this one is a dot grid and it has lines. So you get the best of both worlds, and it just looks great. Like, I had a lot of fun with this one. So if you need a fall gift, Thanksgiving gift, or anything like that, you should definitely check those out. And it's a great way to support the show. Link is in the description below. Okay, so let's start talking about mom burnout. So I am just going to tell you about my experience with mom burnout. And it's not something like, yes, we go through the day or we have weeks where we just need a break. Mom burnout goes much deeper than that. It is really like you can't move, or you can't do something that you would normally do. You have no motivation or anything like that. So after my last baby was born, she had some feeding issues, and I'll leave that show in the notes in the description below. And so it caused, obviously, a lot of stress for me. Probably more stress than necessary because we did get them worked out and all that good stuff. But, in the moment and with all the hormones raging, Um, it's hard to do. So she was born at the end of 2019, and we all know what happened in 2020. So amidst all of these feeding issues and the stress that those are causing, we also had things shut down. And that added to, like, for our family, like, we enjoyed it because my husband was working from home, and then he got to see the baby and all of her milestones. And so in that sense, it was great. But in another sense, like, my kindergartner is home now. I was not planning on homeschooling kindergarten. And yes, I was homeschooling my 3 oldest kids, but I've never done kindergarten because I didn't want to. And that's a whole nother story that I have a show for that too. So he ended up being home. You know, you have so much uncertainty. And then you have the hoarders in the grocery store. Okay, like when we went Costco shopping, it was insane what people were buying. And honestly, when Costco started posting their signs, like, we are not taking returns on like Clorox wipes or toilet paper or paper towels, I'm like, it serves them right, because they were hoarding. So anyway, so I'm shopping through Costco, and this was just a regular shop that we wanted to do. I had 2 boxes of milk, and I get to the register. They're like, you can only get 1. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is my normal shopping. Like, I'm not hoarding. This is what I normally buy every time I go. I'm like, I have 8 people in my house, and we can only have 1 box of milk. And the poor cashier was just like, I can't do, that's just what they told us. So you have kind of like a domino effect. So I'm stressed from the baby, and also she kind of was such a Klingon. Like, I started getting claustrophobic from her being so clingy. So you have the stress from the baby, then you have this hitting, and it's hard to grocery shop and to get the normal things that you want because shelves were empty. I'm sure we all remember that. And it threw off all of my food planning and everything like that. I reached the point where, like, I just didn't want to cook anymore. I was so just burnt out on kind of like normal mom stuff, but I just couldn't do it anymore. Like, there was no amount of self-talk, motivation to get me to do it. I was beyond done. And I hate cooking and grocery shopping anyway, so all of these things kind of fueled that. And I have to say, I'm not fully over it yet, but there is an expectation to be fed in this household. So you kind of just have to do it, grin and bear. You just kind of have to do it because they want to eat, and there's nobody else who will feed them. But so backing up to the depths of my burnout. So you have all of these things happening. And I don't want to sit here and say this is the prescriptive formula to get out of it, because there isn't. And again, I'm not a psychologist, a counselor, or a psychiatrist. I just want to validate you, mom, in your feelings that you're having, whatever is causing the burnout. So there were a couple of things that did help. One was getting somebody else to cook. I know. And it wasn't my husband, it was my oldest son. So I think he recognized the brick wall, or he just knew that mom needed help. And so that was a big thing, is that he took on himself a lot, at least cooking once or twice a week. And actually, when my husband was working from home, he was able to pick up more days to cook as well. So I had to get help at that time because there was no way that I could keep going. So that's number one. You need to get help. Let me check my notes. Okay. And again, I don't have a prescription, a prescriptive step-by-step formula for this. I think the biggest thing was to get help and to figure out the ways to kind of make it easier on myself, making easier meals, ordering, food often, or not that often, but you know what I mean. So finding those ways, because again, like eating and, feeding your family is kind of a basic thing that has to get done. So it doesn't matter like how burnt out with it you are, it still has to get done. But there's things that you can do. Again, getting help, figuring out ways to make it easier, and then not feeling guilty about it. Because I think that's the big thing, especially when it's not just you that are affected by it, but everyone around you is also affected. And even now, I still haven't gotten back into my full routine of meal planning and ordering. It's kind of like it's gotten better, but I'm still hanging on. Okay. So those are the things to do. Ask for help, figure out ways to make it easier for you, and then don't feel guilty about it, because that's just going to add to it. So mom, if mom burnout is just robbing you of your joy, of your energy, of your physical, mental, and emotional strength, just know that you're not alone. And again, this coffee chat is not intended to necessarily be prescriptive, but it is so that you are validated in how you are feeling. So that is a wrap. I hope you will join me next week for another coffee chat. And as always, if you would like to support the show, you can do that by buying me a coffee, because I like coffee. And you can go to ko-fi.com/Life Unboxed blog, and the link will be in the description below, or the pinned comment if I can remember to do that. And I will see you in the next episode.